DonInLondon, hello. It's January 21st, 2010. This month is spinning along. And my video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance of addiction, alcohol, my behaviour, quite as addictive, work, relationships, collecting, materialism, trying to look right, trying to appear right, putting on a brave face, not quite sure what was going on inside me, because I'd lived with it for so long. And that was a fear of life in particular, and a fear of not being good enough. And I don't know where it came from, or do I? Well, maybe it's because I never learned how to deal with life on a daily basis, and I was always frightened of being found out, and shame and guilt around that. And that goes back to my very, very early childhood. It has nothing to do with family, has to do with instances outside. That we get to where we are, and then we decide and understand what we can do about our choices. And through my adolescence and into my career, working, and my relationships of living, I guess fear was always there, fear of not being good enough. And what did I do? I poured a drink on top. It suppressed my feelings of fear and brought out another person, the person who would want to be convivial, part of, included, able to access my feelings of love for other people, and not be fearful that people wouldn't love me back. And even when people loved me, I didn't know how to deal with it. So how do I work it all out on a daily basis now? Well, I've stopped drinking, one day at a time, and it's good to be in a one-day program, which allows me the benefit to find out how I'm feeling, and then wonder what to do next. And the gift is, if I've got a blank page on a daily basis of how life can turn out, I have a better understanding that from one end of the day to the other, I get to know who I am a little bit more, and I get to know more about people around me a little bit more. And I make my choices to be with those who I can identify with, and those who don't have any part to play in my life. And I say that gently and carefully, because sometimes we don't like people. We don't like their behaviour, even though we might quite like the person as they stand. But we can't stand their behaviour. So what have I learned along the way? Well, 35 years of drinking made me functional in some ways, accumulating and being possessive and obsessed to be right, to be perfect, and never so. So I was beating myself up against, I guess, a standard which I set for myself, and I didn't even know where that standard would take me. But it did take me into a couple of careers, and I did well. And then I fell to pieces. And at the time of falling to pieces and the nervous breakdown, I wasn't drinking. I was just so scared of what was happening to me. I couldn't make sense of anything. But as time went by, drink provided oblivion from the depression I was in, and the anxiety state, and the panic attacks, and you name it. And I got to a place of 24-hour drinking. And then, what happened? I had a rock bottom, and I made a joke about rock bottom yesterday, and a quote from Jennifer Lopez, simply thinking it might be quite funny. Didn't quite turn out that way, but the gift is, it's past, and I can make better jokes maybe, and make better observations and quotes about life. Anyway, the gift is, being in the day and being sober means that I am able to move on and look forward and be a part of life. So at that rock bottom, what happened? A moment of clarity. That was, I could not do this on my own. Family, friends, community kept me alive long enough, and professionals, to get that moment of clarity that I needed help. And in the end, what helped me? Well, a fellowship, Alcoholics Anonymous, and I share about it here. And I also share a little bit about me and my life and the literature of AA in order to share experience, strength and hope, which is really the intent of fellowship. So, what is AA? I will share the statement of intent, or the AA preamble. It reminds me what's important to me. Lean on fellowship and life will work, with family, community and society. So sobriety comes first. Noise is off, It's probably the wine merchants across the road getting ready to throw out all the empty bottles. Anyway, the statement of intent. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And anyone who goes to AA is a unique, authentic person. Not special and different, just unique, authentic, like everybody else. And the fellowship is full of wisdom, of experiences learned by so many people staying sober. And whether we're new, brand new, whether no time of sobriety or decades, and I'm nowhere near that. Sobriety is what we're there for. Unique, authentic people finding their unique, authentic path in life. And AA draws from every source it can possibly imagine in its literature and in its fellows. We all work to that common aim, to be sober and see how life can turn out. And yesterday I went to one of my home groups, and somebody doing the chair, only a few months in, although they have had knowledge of AA for some time, and this is often the way, from my first meeting to my second, there was a good 5 years, and all that denial in between was drinking time, convincing myself I was not an addict or an alcoholic, and always using self-will, which failed, as it always does if we're an addict, because it is an illness that we cannot overcome on our own. So fellowship, and hearing somebody speak for the first time, doing a chair, which is where we sit at the front and share a message of experience, strength and hope, which may be just a few minutes long, or half an hour, depending on what happens in our minds and how we share. But mine went on for a long time, a bit like my videos. And this person, how do people get it so young, is my question. And I'm always so pleased when I see somebody who is becoming sober at a very young age. And their share was beautiful because it explained why, how, and what to do next, and just all the pitfalls along the way. But the gift is, when somebody actually sits at the front, is able to share a message of experience, strength and hope, and we have brand new people in tonight, or rather last night, about learning about recovery. So from 1 day sober to 31 years sober last night, all to the good. And people are in the same place, on the level playing field. No one's bigger, no one's smaller. We are respectful of each other, equal-sized people. So all good. And in today's reading and daily reflections, it says we pause, it says, serving my brother. The member talks to the newcomer, not in the spirit of power, but in a spirit of humility and weakness. As the days pass in AA, I ask God or my good conscience to guide my thoughts and the words that I speak. In this labour of continuous participation in the fellowship, I have numerous opportunities to speak, so I frequently ask God or my good conscience to help watch over my thoughts and my words, that they may be the true and proper reflections of our programme, to focus my aspirations once again to seek His guidance to help me be truly kind and loving, helpful and healing, yet always filled with humility and free from any trace of arrogance. And the gift in that, I haven't got time to do the whole of the next paragraph, the gift in that is it's an equal-sized fellowship of equal-sized people with sobriety as their common purpose. So when I share the Serenity Prayer at the end of these videos, it is to God or good conscience around acceptance of the reality of now. And it goes, God, or to good conscience, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference for me is just for today.